Now to matters education, and Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has announced that the government is now ready for schools reopening on Monday next week. Magoha, however, observed that some leaders are citing lack of attaining social distance as one major challenge that should halt reopening of schools, saying the problem is not only in Kenya but the entire world. In the meantime, parents are rushing against time to beat the deadline before learners resume full-time in-person learning. George Maringa with that report.
For a CS whose docket will be the center of attention beginning next week, it is business as usual during the festive season. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha would on Wednesday continue his inspection tour, this time landing at Mjini Primary School near Murang'a Town. Here, he called out those who are raising queries over reopening of schools.
And our children do not belong to any political parties. So the schools will open on Monday.
In September of 2020, the government embarked on an ambitious program to provide desks of a particular design to public schools. Implementing social distancing in schools has remained a tough headache for the CS. Magoha now says teachers will have to be innovative.
I want to plead with our gallant teachers to ensure that they become innovative. For example, in this school, you can see in between the trees, if the weather is as good as it is now, nothing stops the head teacher, who is an excellent teacher, from having classes outside there, in addition to others being inside the room.
While Magoha was busy inspecting schools, parents thronged uniform shops, bookshops and other outlets. Long queues were witnessed here in Nairobi as parents and their children waited patiently to buy the much-needed items.
I could kindly request for the government to consider some of the challenges the parents are having, because last year we had paid partially. Again, this year we have to pay again.
Inside one outlet along River Road, we bump into Jane Gathuru, a guardian who has traveled from Komarok to purchase uniform and other items. She says the last time she did this was in early 2020, and having gone through a tumultuous year, things are tough. Jane, alongside other parents, have several additions to their shopping lists. They have to buy masks and hand sanitizers for their children.
Not everything is being found, and even the prices, they have gone up. Yeah, so it's a bit strenuous because it's also the holiday. It's not yet over.
And they shall be distributed not through lobbying. We have a system where we shall identify ourselves the children who need the masks. May I plead with our parents that in order to buy 2 reusable masks for your beloved child,
Businessmen selling items to parents now have a reason to smile, though the shopping trend is different this time.
The previous years in Kenya, January was a New Year starting, but now it's not that. So there's no 4 months going, so that type of shopping is not there. This is just what they are increasing, what they run out, like socks, ties, t-shirts, mainly.
Schools were closed in March 2020, and only Form 4 students, Class 8 and Grade 4 pupils reopened on 25th October. For the very first time, millions of learners will converge in schools for studies in the new normal. And so the countdown begins for schools reopening, even as parents and guardians find themselves in harsh economic times to try and get the necessary requirements before in-person learning resumes officially on January 4th, 2021. George Maringa, KTN News, Nairobi.
Still in matters education, public primary schools head teachers are cautioning against reopening schools next Monday unless there are funds to facilitate preparations.